is you'll be given a key code. Now, when you come into the exam tomorrow, you'll be lining up outside, waiting for the exam to start, where we will get you in, depending on your room, which is posted on the wall for the assembly. It's also in the bottom of 22G, both sides, and at the top. But I would advise you check that before the exam. Now, all your codes you will receive once you're all sat in the exam and logged onto your controlled accounts. Now, as much as you can get on this website, please don't try my code because it won't let you and it'll just ruin this, okay? So I've got a code here. Pop it in just like you will. It'll ask if your details are correct and you'll have a page just like this. Now it won't say Candidate 2 Demo and it won't say Test Demo, it'll say GCSE Computer Science Unit 2 and your name. Now it's really important that we check that this is right, okay? So I'll just get rid of that. What you're going to do is, first things first, you need to download the files. So all you'll do is, we have made the link so it'll only open in Google Chrome, which means that when you click this and you click that, it will download them just at the bottom. So what you can do is you can click there, show in folder, and in your downloads they'll appear. Okay, now what you've got to upload is your WGEC aquarium file, your electronic answer document, and a HTML file that you will create. Now, I'm running Windows 10, the school computers are Windows 7, so it might not work exactly, but to unzip, first thing you're going to do is you're going to press Alt on your keyboard, which I can do. You press Alt, you're going to go to File, Extract All. Okay, these instructions will be laid in front of you for the exam. So I'm going to extract here, just because I'm using WinRAR, which you're not using. Then what I advise you do is, once you've got this, your screen looks like this, you take that WGEC aquarium and delete it. Now the reason you should delete it is what you don't want to do is do all your hard work, forget to zip up, and then upload a blank Greenfoot file, because that's 15 marks gone. Okay? Your electronic answer document isn't anything special. It is literally a Word document with your questions in. That'll appear in a second. With all your questions in for you to answer, barring your Greenfoot question and your HTML. Now your HTML is right here. So let's start the exam. So hopefully you've downloaded all the things off my website and you've got Notepad opened up. Okay? So I'm going to stick Notepad there, and for now I'm going to pop that there. If you're not sure how to set your screens up like mine, all you need to do is hold the Windows key, press left or right on the window you opened. So, I'm seeing some of the latest followers. I'm not going to read them out because some of them are a bit inappropriate. So we'll start on the exam. Now, what you'll do, we've downloaded the files, we're going to go to question 2. Okay? First things first, it asks us to state the HTML tags needed for each of the following: italic text, center text, and horizontal rule. Now I'm really hoping you can answer this yourselves without asking me, but I'm just going to go through. So again, I'm going to put it to the side, so I'll look at that, and it says italic text, so we should all know that it's the I tag. Now question B, center text, we should all know that it is center, ER, because it's the American spelling. And the next question is horizontal rule. Now that one, nice and easy, is just HR for horizontal rule. So there we go, there's 3 marks sorted. Once you have done this, I strongly suggest Control S to save, or press there, click yes, and it'll tell you how much progress is, okay? Now, don't press this button. If I pressed it right now, it would kick me off this. If you press it in the exam, you have submitted your marks on 3 marks out of 60. So you've failed. So please, please, please don't press it. Tomorrow, you will have an invigilator and you will have one of us. You'll either have myself, Mr. Riley, Mr. Smith, Miss Usher, if you're at Summercoats, Mr. Norval, and Mr. Bashford. If I already said him. Okay, so they'll be there. If you're really struggling with any uploading or zipping up, they can help you. But don't press finish test until one of those people tell you to submit. Okay, we will all be coming round checking all of your computers to make sure that you've uploaded all the files correctly. So on to the next question. So you've all seen this website before. It's nothing new. We've made this one before. So a first attempt at producing a HTML web page to advertise a fitness tracking wristband is shown below. So it sees exactly the same text as what's on your electronic answer document. The web page was then improved using various HTML tags to provide the formatting and content shown below. And there you go, we can see it there. Slightly different actually to the one inside the mocks we did a while back, okay? So obviously the first thing we're going to do is you're going to go to your electronic answer document and you're going to right click copy. We no longer need that, so we can get our notepad up, flick it to that side, and what I suggest you do is paste it in like that. Now, having your website and having your question sheet or your website next to it is going to be really helpful. So as you should all know, we start off with, and I hope you can all see that all right. Just bear with me, I'm just going to check. We can see that okay, I think it's all right. Okay, so HTML, head, and now what you'll see is they have put some work on the title there. They haven't given you that, so you're going to do it off your own backs. So make sure you actually check it. Really important, okay? So title, and that is my fitness tracker homepage, okay? Don't forget your slash titles. Then finish off the head. And I'm sorry if my keyboard is really noisy. So finish off a slash body and my slash HTML. So first thing you should be doing is looking. There's no background colours, so that's nice and easy. Take a little look. We can quite clearly tell that that's in the middle and that's a H1 tag. You can't really tell if it's a H1 or not. It should be visibly big. Okay, so we'll start off with the centre tag, and we know it stops before the do you need to monitor. So we'll stop slash centre there. We want a H1 tag there, and by the looks of things, it looks to me like it's bold and italics the next line. Oops, missed the H. So fitness tracking wearable technology is going to be a nice P. That's bold. That's italics. And then exactly the same against the slash B, slash I, and slash P. Okay. Now, one thing you'll notice is it does tell you to copy the text from the electronic answer document, which we've done, insert the tags that's needed, which we've done, and it says save your new web page as myfitnesstrackerfinal.txt. Now, big thing there is that it's a .txt file. You cannot upload a .html. So what I suggest you all do is do it as you normally would, save it as a .html, all that jazz, but then make sure you copy and paste it into that final text file when you're done. Now just bear with me 2 seconds. Now I'm just making sure it goes to the right folder for the stream. So I've just done file save as. Make sure, it doesn't matter about the name at this point, but it's probably a good practice to call it the proper name. So being computer scientists like we all are, let's be lazy, copy and paste the name. So myfitnesstrackerfinal.html. Now you should know if it's saved properly because all my syntax is now highlighted. Now if you go to run, launch in Chrome, you can see a bit of my website's done. Don't see much difference there. Now if you're thinking, oh my god, my website does not look anything like this example, think about how small that window is. If I take that off and make it really small, you see it looks a lot similar, a lot more similar. So yeah. So Next thing, let's carry on with the exam. So we've got, do you need to monitor? So to me, that looks like a paragraph tag, although it is a tiny bit indented. But we'll go for a paragraph tag. So, do you need to monitor? Now, one thing I know you all know how to do is how to do a list. You can use the li tags. But what's really important is that you do the full tags. So, if you've got bullet points, that is an unordered list. If you have got numbered points, that is an ordered list. So, first things first, we want UL and we want /UL. It doesn't matter about any of these spacings. I like to space mine out a little bit. You don't have to. So we've got an li for a list. That means one bullet point. But like I've said, this li, you can use it on its own and it'll still work, but it won't indent it the same as the example, which will lose you a mark because you get marked in pairs of tags. So if you don't bother putting the UL in or anything like that, you will lose out on 1 or 2 marks, which obviously for something as simple as that, it's not really worth it. So we check our website. You see, do you need to monitor, blah blah blah. Those bits are done. Now all of the above say so something up to here. So again, the next p tag /p tag. Now we have got a line there. Now what's not on the syllabus is how to make that line a certain thickness. You can just do HR and that will do the horizontal rule if I just do that. Now theirs isn't going the full length of the page, but it also doesn't look like it's proper HTML. But as far as I can remember, what you can do is you can do width equals 75%, and I think that should reduce the size. So you see, it's a little bit more like it. Next thing, click the link below to find out more. So another paragraph tag, nice and easy. Now where you guys mostly go wrong is with these links, okay? So you start off, the bit you can all do is a href equals and that, and most of you can do that absolutely fine. There is no issues at all. However, you won't actually see the link in this case. So to get an extra mark, you need to do http:// and then copy the link without the http, just like that, and you put that right there. /a, give it a save, make it small again, so it looks similar, put it alongside, F5, and that is pretty much the entire thing. Okay, so that didn't take that long. We've been streaming for 13 minutes, no, 23 minutes. 23 minutes of a stream after the intro, so it's taken us about 10 minutes, okay? So we've now got 1 hour, 50 minutes to do the rest of the exam, okay? So I would then go to File, Save As, change that to .txt, so that should be here, so no .txt, maybe a bit at the top then. Normal text file .txt, press save, go back into your wherever your things are, which mine should be in stream, and I would delete or not upload the HTML file. Probably not the best idea to delete it in case you do need to go back and change it, but make sure that is not uploaded, but it won't let you anyway. Okay, so it's one thing done. Don't need Notepad anymore. So done question 2, so I'll scroll down, press yes. Question 4. So our next question is explain the difference between local and global variables, okay? Now, you should have learned, 1 second, so a little drink, that a local variable is a variable created within an if statement or within a function, okay? A global variable is one at the top. Now, just for an example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Notepad back up. So say if I was making a program in Python, so say I had score equals 0, and then I had, I don't know, for I in range 10, you see score equals 0 there, that is a global variable because this variable here, score, is tabbed in, so it's only available inside this for loop. So say if I deleted that bit of code and later on in my program where it's unindented I said print score, that would not work purely because score is only inside the for loop. So a local variable is only available within the function or if statement that it was created in, whereas a global variable, like one at the top, is available to be used throughout the entire program. So a local variable can only be created in the function or section of code it was created in. A global variable can be used, I always spell throughout wrong, the entire program. Okay, now explain why it is usually better practice to use local variables rather than global variables. That was a bit of an iffy question, if I'm honest with you, because me personally would prefer global variables because I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to programming. However, local variables, it's better to use them because it's not a waste of memory. If you imagine that you're only using a variable for so long, so you're only using a variable for a tiny for loop or an if statement, not very long, then there's no point taking a bit of RAM up, taking a little bit of memory up when it's not needed. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to that question with the mark scheme purely because I don't want to give you like a 1 mark answer. Okay, so my answer will probably get you 1 mark, so I'm going to come back to that one with the full mark scheme when I go through the answers, okay, for what I can get. Okay, we've got another follower, it's Grandad, thank you very much for following, down to I think I'm on 13 so far, doing well. So let's go to the next question. So I'm going to say no for this one because I haven't answered it just yet, and I'll come back to it. So question 5. Now what I want you to do is ignore that, because quite clearly the exam board, when creating the test account, decided not to change the answer for the from the HTML question. Okay, so question 4. It says below is an assembly language program written using Little Man Computer LMC mnemonics. So instead of saying set the pairs of the following lines of code in the assembly program above and it being italic text and all that jazz, it obviously means what does imp mean, staff mean, imp mean, add first, out, and HLT mean. Okay, so we should know that IMP means take in a number and store it in the accumulator. Okay, really important. If you just say input a number, you're not wrong, but we really want, we want a decent answer. We don't want to risk it with an iffy answer. Okay, so you're taking a number from the user and store it in the accumulator. The accumulator is a register of the CPU. Okay, now next one is star first. So star means store, so store, best spell store right, been idea, store whichever value, is it whichever or whatever? I'll just say store the value so I don't look stupid. Store the value that is in the accumulator into a mailbox, so that's a slot of RAM, a mailbox, called first. Okay, now the program in this example here actually will not run. It won't work. Bonus point if anyone can tell me why. Have a little think about it. So the answer is there should be an extra line called line 7, which should say dat command. It should have a dat command, DAT, and what that does is that gives a name to a mailbox. So where they've used first, they could quite easily have used STA99 or STA76. First just gives that a name. So they've missed that off actually. So anyway, number 3. So C, well, imp, it's the same thing, so I'm going to waste time, copy and paste. Next one, add first. Now this one's a tiny bit tricky, not too hard though. So add first, what that will do is add the value of the mailbox first to the number in the accumulator. So at this point in the program, if you think when it runs, it will input a number, store that in a variable called first. It will then input a second number and then add whatever they wrote in first to that number. Then E outputs. In fact, what's outputs? Because you shouldn't use the word you define in your definition. So takes the value in the accumulator and sends it to the output tray, or outputs it to the user. The very last one, HLT, we should all know, nice and easy, is halt. So HLT stops the program. Okay, so nice easy question, press yes. Next question. Now everybody from my class, and I think Bashford's as well, has seen I've just got a message just there from one of you, from Ninjas 1v3. I know you can't ask questions because the chat's limited to 3-month followers only mode, and that's for a reason. That's so we don't get a lot of abuse in the chat. I might open up the chat later on if I feel like it, but obviously keep your questions, write them down, leave them to the end, okay? But thank you for that. I did know, but that was intentional, but thank you for that. So next question is an incomplete algorithm, which we've all seen before. So we've got it is intended to check the username and password entered by a user, and the user has 3 attempts. Now it's really, really important that you read the question and read the program. Apologies for that, just replying to a message. So we've got username is string, password string, counter is integer. Now a good hint is later on you know you're going to get asked for an algorithm, to write an algorithm probably. If you've got a question like this, they've written an algorithm, use their syntax. If you still can't remember it and you still really struggle, then by all means write it in Python. They will take what they can get. Okay? So declare subroutine. Login screen, so that's just like a def in Python. Username string, password string, counter is integer, flag is boolean, set flag equals false, set counter equals 0, repeat, output, type in username. Now if you've just outputted, type in a username, you should expect that they will want that input. So sorry for pausing, I just noticed that this question here, obviously to fill in the gaps, and they quite clearly haven't given you room there, okay? So I would probably, if it's something like this happens again, say line 10, line 11, line 13, and line 20, okay? Oh, best not put the colon there, looks stupid. So line 10, so we've just outputted type in username, we look at the bottom here and we can see input username. So I put input username. Line 11, so line 12 says input password. So if that is asking you to input password, then before that they should ask you to type that in. And it says output type in password, so I can steal that. And if you want to copy and paste this from them, I'm sure you can do, I'm just not. Output type in password. So we've got line 13, which is blank. Line 14 says output username and password correct, set flag to true. So clearly at that point in the program we've inputted a username, we've inputted a password. So what we need to do is have a check. We need to check that it's correct. So we've got if username is password, username is user1 and password is pass1. Then we've also got if username is user1 or pass is pass1. Now you should know from your logic questions, and you'd get one in your exam on Monday, that it wants to be an and. You don't want to be saying, oh, if you get the password right but you don't get the username right, that you can get onto the program. So line 13 should be that. Okay, so thank you, Jamal the CS Warrior. I am aware of that, but again, there's plenty of inappropriate names in the chat, so I'd rather not open that up. Thank you very much. So, carrying on. Very last question. So it goes to output user password correct, set flag is true, else username or password is incorrect, end if, and then set counter equals counter plus 1. So looking at this, if you look at line 8, you'll notice it says repeat. Okay, so repeat means there must be a loop. So as you can see here, it says until counter equals 3. Now, the big hint there, in the question, the user's got 3 attempts. So, it's pretty much give that for you. So, last thing is until counter is 3. And there we go, that's another question done. Line 20, paste that in. Okay, have you answered it? Yes, I have. Question 7. Now, it's 8 o'clock now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily just pause the stream for a second, just so I can go grab a drink. I won't be very long, but I will leave the stream on. So I'll just pop on the waiting screen and I'll be back in 5 minutes. So if you want to catch up, or you realise you haven't been getting along and you haven't downloaded anything and you want to do that, you can restored.co.uk/stream and obviously catch up. Now what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to leave on the answers here just for you guys, okay? So we'll leave number 6 just for now. I'll be back in 1 or 2 minutes, okay? Okay, we're back. Just bear with me 2 seconds just to sort something out very quickly. So now we're looking at question 6, which is where you've got to create an algorithm, okay? So we've got an algorithm is required to calculate the total, average, highest and lowest set of positive integers, integer meaning a whole number, not a decimal, and the algorithm needs to input the number of integers, input the value of each integer, output the total, output the average, output the highest integer, and output the lowest integer, okay? Now, those who are doing the work along with me and they're answering the questions, I don't want to give this away just yet, so what I'd like you to do is just make a little start whilst I do a bit of talking and try and get some of those some of those answers popped on. Okay, so just while I very quickly fix something with the stream. 2 seconds. So have a little go. You've got the example input there, how the program should work, so you should be using that, okay? So, now you'll notice that I have got rid of the bottom bar. Thank you for your brilliant names. Not very funny. So this algorithm. Back to Notepad. Best thing to use it for, if I'm completely honest with you. The very best thing to use is Notepad. One, it remembers your variables for you, and two, it's a bit neater. I actually prefer normal Notepad, but you do get that little bit of extra assistance from Notepad. So at this point, take a look at your algorithm. We know for a fact that we've got to enter quite a few integers. We need a total, we need an average, we need highest, and we need lowest, okay? So what we can do is, first things first, just like you would for any other algorithm, you just start and you just stop. Now, as I've said, if you can't remember any of these things, that is absolutely fine. Do not panic. Don't think, oh my god, I've not used a start, I've not used a stop, I can't remember what this means. Just stop panicking. Do it in Python if you need to, okay? If you do it in Python, that is absolutely fine. You're not going to lose marks. Nothing's going to happen. Just something to remember for future. So, variables. Now what you should be doing, and according to the mark schemes I've seen in the past, it doesn't actually matter if you do, if you forget to talk about your variables before you actually use them. What I mean by that is you need to, before you assign anything to a variable, you should be declaring the variable. So first things first, we know we've got total, so we've got total is integer, we've got average is not an integer, it's going to be a float, as that is a decimal number. We've then got highest, so we've got highest is integer, and we've got lowest is integer, okay? So, first things first, you've got to enter the number of integers you use. So that is going to be a variable. If not being given, you got to think about it. So it might just be count or number or something along those lines. I'm going to call mine count, okay? So we've got count is integer. Now you want a print or an output. So output, please enter the number of integers. Input count. Now, when you know how many times you need to loop, you should be using a for loop, not a while loop, although you could still use one. So, can't remember in Python, do it for I in range count, or the proper way in pseudocode should be for int I equals 0 to count. Now, it's always good practice to tab in. You also want to make sure you've got an end for, okay? End of the for loop. So now we need to enter a number, so we'll say output, but spelt correctly, of course. Oh, what's going on there with that capital T? Output, enter, integer. Next, we need to add this to the total. Now, one thing you need to be thinking about, and I make mistakes all the time, as you've clearly seen so far, I'm sat here thinking, total at this point hasn't got anything in it, it needs to be initialized. So set total, make sure it's using capitals. If you use capitals above, if you've declared it as capital, try and keep it the same, they will pick up on that. So set total to 0 or equals 0 is absolutely fine. Now what you want to do is, we'll need a number to temporarily store that number. So there's nothing stopping you at all just doing temp is integer, and then down here I'm going to input temp. So that's my temporary value because I don't want to overwrite the total. Okay. So then I go total equals, or I should do total equals, set total, which should be a capital, so I was reading a question that's been sent in from Terpster, which says, wouldn't you start after assigning the variables? I saw some mock exams put start after they assign the variables. Honestly, they don't mark you on start and stop, so don't worry about it at all. But it's a really good question, but honestly, do not worry about that. So set total equals total, so what's already in there, plus temp. Okay, so that will now add up and that'll sort of total out. There's nothing else we need to do there. Next part, we need to work out the highest and the lowest. Okay, so we need, at this point up here, we need a value inside. I'm just going to put some space in to make it a bit nicer. We need some values inside highest and inside lowest. Okay, so set highest equals 0 or 20. I'll keep my conventions the same. Set lowest to 0. So at the minute there's no changes there, there's nothing that's there that matters at this point, there's nothing inside these variables. So now this temp variable is what we're going to be using. So if temp is greater than highest, then obviously the new highest is now whatever's in temp. So set highest equals temp. End my if. Now you could use elif. You might be thinking, oh, why isn't Mr. Joe using elifs? Why aren't you using ifs or anything like that? I'm just keeping it simple. You're not going to have a go if you don't use elifs. Okay. So two if statements. If temp is less than or equal. The reason I'm saying less than or equal to, I think you can get away with less than, but obviously if you type in 0, that is going to be the lowest. Okay. If temp is less than lowest, then set lowest equals temp. So we can check that. A nice end if there. So now we've worked out the lowest, we've worked out the highest. Now we need to work out the average. Now you won't want to work out the average until outside of your for loop. So now we get to this point. Set average equals total divided by, and now what a lot of people struggle with is they'll get a thing saying, oh right, I'm going to divide it by 3 because it says here 3. That is a variable, that 3, that we called, or I called in this case, count. So we divided by count. Now we need to output all the values, so then we just output total output average, output highest, and lowest, and I've copied too many. Just 1 second. Okay, so 2 seconds. So we've got them things. Obviously, one thing I am missing from my algorithm is it does quite clearly say total and colon. So I would need to do total colon plus, and then average plus. I'm sure they wouldn't penalise you if you didn't put in things like the colon and things like that, but always best being safe, if I'm honest with you. So that's that algorithm done. So that's nice. That's another 9 marks we've got sorted. So we can say we've done that. And next question. Now I'm sure you're all going to be really happy with this one. Now I am going to go over after I've done this exam. We're going to go over the the all different parts of theory. So obviously, if you're thinking, oh God, what's the on about? Jesus Christ! Don't worry about it. Honestly, stop panicking if you are. I'm going to go through every single bit of theory that you need for this part of the exam. Okay. So this one is bubble sort and merge sort. Now that's not a very nice question, if I'm honest with you, doing both things. But it's a 4-mark question for bubble sort and a 4-mark question for merge sort. So before you finish the last question, obviously I should have copied that and pasted that into question 6's section. Okay, so bang that in there, done. So question 7. Now sorry, just stop there because it's got a lot of question marks on my screen. That was weird. So using your knowledge of how bubble sort operates and how merge sort operates, demonstrate how the following data will be sorted using both methods. Now, merge sort, I know, is a massive pain in the bum. Honestly, when I'm demonstrating in front of my lessons, I get it wrong because it is quite a pain. So I'm hoping you're not going to get very many numbers. But honestly, Mr. Bashford, if you are watching, and if you are watching as well, Bashford for me seems to get merge sort right every time, so he's a good person to ask. But he'll be in revision with me tomorrow, period 3 and 22A. So first things first, put your numbers down. So we've got 9, 5, 10, and 2. Now, drawing this out is massively awkward, as you can imagine, because it doesn't look very good. It's not very visual. Those boxes they put in the question, they look really good. God, why can't we use them? Unfortunately, we can't. The exam is 2 hours long, so you'll start the exam at 1 o'clock, and it will finish, hopefully, at 3 o'clock. Obviously, some of you get extra time, and it depends if it starts a little bit late, but you'll be lining up for your exam at 22. But I'm sure that's not you, Jack, but thank you for the question. So first things first, bubble sort is one that looks at 2 values at the same time. Now, I'm just going to quickly pop up something on the screen for you all. So I'm going to go through this in a bit, but you see we've got some sorting algorithms. Okay, bubble sort swaps each number in pairs until the numbers are sorted. Okay, merge sort is a little bit different. It splits it into single numbers, then puts them back into groups. Now I appreciate that, especially the second one does not look very nice to do, but you see how I've drawn those out is what I expect in the exam. Okay, you've got highlighter tools, you've got all sorts you can use. So first things first, and we don't want a paragraph. They do not want you to see saying first you swap 9 and 5, then you swap 9 and 10, and so on. We don't want a paragraph. They will not enjoy a paragraph. Believe me, I'm one of the people examining this, and if you can make it really clear for them, really simple, they're going to appreciate it because it's going to save our time as a moderator. So first things first, you look and you say, right, I'd probably highlight these two and say, right, 9 greater than 5, so they swap. Now I would rewrite the numbers at this point. let's rewrite. So we've now got 5, 9, 10 and 2. I'm just going to spread them out so they don't look as daft. So now these two are sorted now. So now we've got 9 and 10. Now I'll say 9 is less than 10, so don't swap. What actually might be really good is just increasing the font size for these parts like that, just so it's really clear that those are the numbers and that's your writing. Okay. So I've just got a message from one of you. How many marks roughly would you get for a basic version of the algorithm section of the exam? So it was 9 marks. I mean, we'll get you a mark scheme up actually at the end, that because it's very similar to the example one. So I'll get a mark scheme up and I'll pop that up and we can have a look at the examples from there. Okay. So yes, carry on with the question. So 9 is less than 10, so you don't swap. Then obviously 10 is much larger than 2. So I would highlight those using the highlight tool. Don't forget you have got word tomorrow. 10 is greater than 2, so swap. So at this point in your algorithm, we've now got 5, 9, 2, and 10. Okay, let's get that font size up. So we're not fully sorted yet. So what I would say at this point is, shouldn't change my size like that, because a swap was made in this pass. So a pass is when you go all the way through all the numbers. Okay, so you get to the end, that is one pass. So because a swap was made in this pass, restart the algorithm. Oh, best spell it right. So now we've got 5, 9, 2, and 10. Excuse me. So now 5 is less than 9, so don't swap. Then I'm going to copy numbers again. 9 is greater than 2, so swap. So I would highlight those two numbers to show it's been a swap, and then put numbers out again. Obviously I will slightly change that now, so that is now a 2 and that's a 9. So obviously here 9 is less than 10, so don't swap. Because a swap was made, start again. And I know you're probably thinking, God, I've got to write all this. I mean, I'm thinking that a little bit now. It's quite a bit of regretting doing this question, but you know, such is life. So now we've got 5, 2, 9, 10. So our next thing we should be saying is, just get the font size down again to 12. Yep. 5 is greater than 2, so swap. So now we've got, that's a 5 and that's a 2. 5 is less than 9, so don't swap. 9 is less than 10, so don't swap. Now you're probably thinking, right, he's done it. 2, 5, 9, 10, they are in order, we are finished. Happy days. The algorithm's not finished yet. The algorithm will do one final pass. So I'd actually write that. The algorithm does one more pass. Because no swaps are made, a flag is triggered and the algorithm ends. Okay, so that seems like a lot of effort for 5 marks, and it is. But when I show you the mark scheme for this, which I will start looking for now because it might take me a while, 2 seconds. Right, go that up. They show the boxes and they show it expanded and changing. So that is something you definitely want to be looking at doing. Okay. 2 seconds. Yeah, I've just looked, and the questions from this example are the same as the sample assessment, so I can show you the mark schemes for that as well. For Max, who asked me the question about the marks. Okay, so now the second part. So maybe it might be an idea just to put bubble sort. Now this one is the big one, the massive pain. Okay. So just like my picture I showed you, it's all about, you've got a list there of 8 things, and then split into 7 things. They split into 2 groups, and then 2 groups until you get individual numbers. Once you've got individual numbers, that's where you're happy. Okay. Because then what you can do is you can start looking at individual values and changing them. Okay. Into the right order. So merge sort. Now, same numbers again. So we've got 9. Help us to press the right button. 5. That's 6. 5. 10. 2. I think it's my bedtime already. Right, now the first thing that happens is split the list into 2 lists of 2. So now you've got 9. We've got 9, 5, and then we've got 10 and 2. Okay. Now the next thing you want to do, if you look at this, got the 2 groups and 2 groups. So now I need to put these into individual values. Now I need to put these back into not back into anything. I need to put these back to So I just had a message saying, will the live stream be uploaded as a video so you can re-watch it if you need to catch up on questions? Possibly. I will have to confirm that, obviously, thanks to the silly names some people have put on. It is slightly inappropriate. I won't have time to edit that tonight. Okay, so I'll have a word and see what happens for that, okay? But obviously you should have a revision session tomorrow as well, especially if you're at Cleethorpes, and by all means I will go over anything that I've discussed tonight. But thank you for that. So I've got 95 and I've got 10 and 2. Sorry, 9 and 5 and 10 and 2. So now we split them again. So I've got 9, 5, 10 and 2. Okay, so these are all separate numbers now. They are now individual values. Okay, now when you get this point, I'm just going to space these up just so it looks a bit clearer, if it does. Now we need to now sort these these single numbers into lists of 2 again. So I'm just going to put some text there just to make that a bit more clear. So let's put that down to 12. So split the lists of 2 into lists of 1. Missed that step out. Now what you do is when you are sorting these back into the correct order, you look at the first part, the first element, element 0 of your list. So obviously in this case it's 2 lists, 9 and 5, separate lists, and the small. Okay, so you look and you go, right, which is bigger, 9 or 5? So 9 is greater than 5, so swap and make list. So now here, again I'm going to space these up just so I can write on both things. Excuse me. Make list. So now we've got a list of 5 and 9. Okay, so that's sorted now. Now Bashford, if you are watching, I get something wrong, please interrupt me. Send me a text or something. And then we do exactly the same thing on the other side as well. So I'm going to write it here. 10 greater than 2. So swap and make into new list. So we've got 9 and 5, and then we'll have 2 and 10. Now it's got a couple more questions popping up. So I just got a question about why can't I edit the video. That's because it takes time. and if I'm honest with you, after this stream I do want to go to sleep because I've got to organise the exam for tomorrow as well, and I've got revision and lessons. So I don't want to sound snarky, but I do have sleep to have as well. But I will have a go. I'll definitely try. So we've got our two lists now: 5 and 9, 2 and 10. Now we need to put them back into that big list. So what we do is we check the very, very first element of both lists. So now we check if I'm just going to put my thing down. 5 is greater than 2. So add 2 to the final list. So that the new list now has a 2 at the beginning. Okay? And then what you'd do is you'd actually get rid of, at this point, so scroll down, get rid of 2. So now the first element in this list now is now 10, not 2, and the first element is still 5. So then I'd say, right, 5 is less than 10, or 10 is greater than 5, whatever. So add 5 to the final list. So now this will look like, that'll be 9 and 10, and that'll have 2 and 5 in. Okay, now as you can imagine, 9 less than 10, so add 9 to the final list. So that'll be 2, 5, 2, 5, 9, and then obviously 10's left on its billy. So then just get the font down again. 10 is the final number, so add to the list. Okay, so our final numbers are all sorted. Now I'm hoping you followed that, and I know that algorithm is a massive pain and quite difficult, but there's no guarantees that they aren't going to ask you that. Okay, so that's that question. So I've done that, finished it all in, finished. Now that is the last theory-ish question. Okay, that is the last theory question. Yeah, Mr. Bashford has just sent me a message saying it's hard to go wrong with 4 numbers, which is exactly right. So fingers crossed you will get 4 numbers, okay? So that's that. Now, probably the one you're all waiting for is Greenfoot, okay? So let's start off with some Greenfoot now. Yeah, so let's go. So I've already opened up Greenfoot. What you want to make sure you're doing is don't try, especially on the Cleethorpes network, just double clicking this project here. That will not work at all. Okay, it probably will open, but then it'll just give you an error and close. Okay, and the same thing again. The reason why I've deleted the zip file as well is if the zip file is still remaining in your folder and you go to open it from Greenfoot, it'll open up and then it'll give you all these compiler errors and all sorts, and it's not very good. So what we need to do, so it's replying to a comment. We need to open it up. So we've got it extracted. Ignore the Mac one. I'm presuming that's just a Mac version for those who have Macs, but why would you want one of them? Mr. Riley. Whew. So scenario, open. Now desktop. Ignore the Sims 4. That is purely because my girlfriend's obsessed with The Sims. So WJEC Aquarium, open up, okay? It will close, it will not work, okay? It'll look real dodgy and you think, oh, it's broken, but it hasn't. It'll just appear either to the left hand side or the right hand side, okay? So we've got our nice little game. Press compile and you'll see what you've got. Now what you'll notice, and it's a little bit different from what we taught you, because you'll see we've got the counter already made. Now I'm going to get to that later, because fingers crossed, when I spoke with the head of subjects at the exam board, he told me
that you might get asked to create all these assets yourself, not as in draw them, but as in create the classes, or you might get asked to make the counter in your own, or they might give you it. Okay, fingers crossed, you want it all. Okay, you want it all done for you, but you all have learnt it, so there's nothing new there. So you want to make a new crab. So if we look at this, it says populate the well with a crab, 2 sharks and 2 fish. Now, common sense, if you're only putting one of something on there, that is probably the thing that you're going to be controlling in this game, okay? So back to Greenfoot, I want 1 crab, and I've forgotten how many sharks and how many fish already because I was talking. So 2 sharks, 2 fish, let's have a look. Ooh, too many windows at once. 2 sharks and at least 2 fish. So if you're saying at least, then I'm going to go for 3, just in case. And you've already got it there. Click the counter on there, it pops up, right click, save the world. Now, let's start off with our crab. So when they've created it for you, they always have this constructor, and I think only Reese Scott will understand one more there. You've got this little function here. Ignore it, you don't need it. Okay. Good practice. If you was learning how to program Java properly, you would be using these properly. But if we're being honest, we're to get good marks in this exam, aren't we? So go straight into here, and this is where you want to do your moving. Now, I'm going to go over this again tomorrow, but your movement is fairly simple. But I'll put this on there. Movement using this Greenfoot is key down thing. Okay. Now, those at summer coats and those that don't remember that control space is your friend. Okay. So we're going to start off with an if statement. If statements in Java have brackets. Okay. And they have curly brackets. So now, if you're really struggling with anything, you're thinking, oh, I can't remember any code. Oh, I forgot the stream. What's happening? Capital G, Greenfoot. Okay. Full stop, hold control, press space. That's popped up with the IntelliSense. IntelliSense is a little bit of help, okay? There's nothing wrong with you using this, okay? Oh, down. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for checking if I've pressed down any keys. So I'm looking for is key down. Press enter. 2 speech marks in there. Now I'm going to say I'm going right first, okay? So if Greenfoot.is key down right, you want to move. We're going to say, I'll say 5, we can always change it. Don't forget your semicolons. Don't put a semicolon on an if statement. If you put that there, it won't work. Okay, needs to be like that. Move, and before I move, I need to set rotation. Now you're thinking I need to change the way it's looking. Which way is this lobster going to be looking for it starts moving? Again, hold control, press space. Now, I've got to look down. Oh look. We've got set location and set rotation. We've got set rotation. I'm going to pop in an integer, 0, and that's done. So I'll compile it, play my game, and I'll hold the right arrow, and you see, probably a bit too fast there, because they give you a lot smaller world than the ones we've practiced with. So I probably want to change that to move 1. Compile again. Run. Now, bit better, okay? Now that's working. Now, back to the crab. You've done one bit of code. Like I said, we are lazy. We are computer scientists. Copy and paste, when used correctly, is our friend. The reason I'm saying that is if you copy and paste the wrong thing, then it's going to mess up your game. I'm going to take that. We're going to copy it. Again, bad practice, because I'm not using elifs, but I'm not bothered. We've got right. And now if you're thinking, oh, what are the directions? If 0 means right, then to go down, we're turning 90 degrees. So 0 plus 90 for down, it's going to be 90. So I'll stick a 9 there. Now if I'm going left, set rotation, so 90 plus 90, 180. And up is always 270, okay? But again, if you can't remember, just add 90, go around the clockwise, okay? So up, then I'm going to set my direction, set rotation, to 270. I'm going to compile, press run, and go up, down, left, right, and there we go. And that's quite a lot of marks done already. We've already got lots of marks, okay? Just from getting your aquarium done, putting your assets on the screen, that's 1, 2, 3 marks. Then we just got another 2 marks for movement. Okay, so we're already laughing at this point. Going back to the brief, which is there. Edit the fish and sharks so that they turn and move randomly. Now, there's loads of different ways to do this. There's the ways that we've done which makes it look a bit stupid, the game doesn't look that great, but it works. Or we could have if statements that say if you select this number, go point in this direction. But like I said, we're about to get marks. So we just got 3 marks for that. We've got 2 marks for that, so we're on 5 marks. So let's get these 3 marks, sorry, the extra 2 marks, sorry, for turning and moving randomly. So we'll go to the fish. Now, you get an extra mark for having the same move as your arrow key movement. So if you said 5 on that one, you want 5 on this one. I've said 1, so I'm keeping it as 1. Now, again, control space, looking for set rotation. Now, I'm looking for Greenfoot. Control space again, get random number, integer, 360, because obviously we want the full turning circle. Now just being asked what percentage is this exam out of the GCSE, it is 37.5%, so it's nearly 40%. So if you think, oh, I think I've messed up on that exam on Monday, don't worry about it too much, because you can make up for it in this one if you do really well and you're listening. Okay, so and that's that done. Just to prove it, compile, run. You see, it looks a bit, it actually doesn't look that bad actually. I actually think that looks absolutely fine. Bit fast, but oh well. So that works. So I'm going to copy and paste into my shark. So based on that now, on the exam, we've now just got 3, 6, 8. Is that right? Yeah, 8 marks by doing A, B and C. Okay. Now we need to edit the crab so that it eats a fish when they collide. Okay. So when we're back on the crab, if I can find it, that'd be good. So crab. Now, really important that we do this properly. Now, if you're thinking, I cannot remember how to do this, how do I do it? There's 2 ways of doing it. 1 gets you the extra mark because you'll get the play sound, 1, 1. But if you're thinking, I can't remember the sound, I'm just going to bin it off, can't remember. Control space, you want to look for remove touching. Okay? But to get the extra marks, we want to do an if statement first. If, then control space, look for is touching. Is touching, and now we're looking for the fish, is that right? So it's capital F on fish, dot class. We want to remove touching, fish dot class, not calls, class, and we want to play sound. So to play sound, it's Greenfoot again. Dot play sound. And now you're thinking, but we don't know what the sound is. And you're right, you don't. Go into sounds, should be in there. So the thing we'll say is that doesn't say. It's a .wav file, okay? .wav. So what I actually will do, and I'll inform you during the revision session, and for those at Summer Coats, I will email Miss Usher if there's an easy way of you seeing the file types. But it's either going to be an MP3 or a WAV. That's something I didn't notice actually. So it was called pop.wav. So pop.wav, okay? So we've got that. Now I don't have my system sounds on. Oh, I've made a mistake. Oh, first mistake of the day. Missing a bracket. So it's really important, but it does highlight your syntax just like Python does. So now, if I hit a fish, don't know if you can hear that, but it's playing that terrible pop sound, okay? So that's that done. So now if we go back to that, we've now got 9 marks, 10 marks from doing D and E, okay? And that wasn't too difficult, I don't think. Now, we need to add a counter and edit the code so the counter displays how many fish has been eaten by the crab. Enter the code so the counter loses a point if the shark eats a fish. Oh, right, that's an interesting game. So you've got to eat the fish before the sharks. Okay, so again, this is where it's going to be a little bit different for you all. The counter, when you open it up, it's all done for you. So you're probably thinking, why are we getting tests on this? Because it's already done. Well, the hardest part you guys struggled with was remembering java.awt.color and remembering the set image. Well, it's already done for you, so let's not worry. If you can't remember this way, but you can remember my way, and you're just worried about the set image part, then copy the code, nick it, make a new counter, and do it my way. But by all means, use theirs. So they've already got it showing the counter, and they've already got it if you use a function called bump counter. And apparently I was speaking to another teacher from a different school, and they told me that it's always called bump counter, but have a look inside. That will increase the score by 1. Now what I can do is, you don't have to remember this code, because if you go into your water, your world, have a little look. It's give you the code to add a counter to the world. So we're going to copy that. We're going to go on the crab. And what you're going to do is, you're not going to pop it anywhere stupid. Just above the act, stick that in. Scroll down to where your touching bit part is, and just go counter dot control space if you can't remember, bump counter, how much you want to put the score up by. Okay, that will do that. So we've got, from just doing that alone, we've just got 2 marks. Now you've got to edit the code so it also loses a point if the shark eats the fish. Now the 2 marks isn't from you just doing it and putting a minus in, however. It's by changing the bump counter function, and it's not difficult. All you want to do is adapt it with my code. So you can put comma string mode, then if mode equals add, then you add to it, else if you steal this code and change the plus to a minus, it will take 1 score off. Okay, the other thing you'll have to adapt now is your code inside the Krabby Lobster will also need you to put in that extra parameter. So I'm just going to put in add. Now make sure, like I put lowercase there, so my program at this minute will not work. So I'll pop in that here like that. Go back to my game, press compile. It'll check me for any errors. So in the counter I've made a mistake, and that's because I didn't put a capital S on string, my bad. Press run. Now you see every time it hits me, see I've got 3 points there now. Now the very last 2 marks, one of them I've just done by changing the counter class. Now the next thing is essentially stealing this. So what I would do is double check that actually if you want to remove from the wild. So if a shark eats a fish, so this needs to be put in. And I think they've been quite nice here. I think the reason why it's the shark touching the fish is because it makes this the same code. So we're going to go into the shark. I think I've got it somewhere. Shark. We're going to copy that in there. If touching fish.class. We don't need to do that. We don't want to do that, so we can put subtract. And the other thing we need to do is go back into water, go back into the world, copy that line of code again, go into the shark, and add that there. Now if I run the game now, compile, if I've not done something daft. So the sharks ate the things, ate all the fish from me, and I lost 3 points. And that's it, your game's done. The very last thing you've got to do is it does tell you to save it, just like the HTML question. You've got to save it as the right name. You see it's worth a mark. So if I see anybody walking around and you don't call it full aquarium or what they've asked you to call it, we can't say anything, it's an exam, but I'll be telling you afterwards and I'm not going to be happy. So it's full aquarium. So what you can do once you're finished, scenario, save as, and I'm going to call it save scenario as full aquarium. It will close. But if I go back to my downloads, you'll see I've got full aquarium there. Done. Now that is the part where you're going to press Alt, or in my case, right click, send to compress zip folder, you're going to press Alt and go to send to compress zip folder. And that's what I can upload. So at this point in the exam, I've done my HTML, I've done most of my answers, in fact I've done all my answers, barring the one I said I was going to come back to, which was question 3B. So at this point, I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to upload my files, I'm going to press that button. Nice little logo from the stream. I'm going to go My Fitness Tracker Final, the text document. You see, if I try and do the HTML, it tells me off, because you can only have zip, doc, docx and txt. So I want to go to Full Aquarium, get that uploaded, and obviously I'm not going to upload my Word document for now. In fact, I will do actually. I'll save it, I'll upload it, we'll pretend we did that question, alright? So electronic answer document, all uploaded, and then you're going to sit and wait. If you're at this point in the exam, you're going to sit there and wait until one of the teachers in the room tells you to stop. Says, right, now you're going to press finish test, okay? And make sure you select everything, it should say progress 100%. Now, very quickly, yeah, Reese, you've messaged me saying you can't make a zip file and score right clicking. I have said that about 4 times now. You press Alt on your keyboard, you go and you get a little file menu at the top. I can't show you that because I'm not on the same version of Windows, but there is some instructions, excuse me, there are going to be some instructions printed out in front of you that you can use. Now I'm just going to very quickly just mute my microphone for a second so I can just get myself a drink really quick. I won't be long. Alright, I'm back. I've just had a message from someone saying that we cannot access the download file when we have downloaded the answer booklet and weject file, can we? The downloads folder is blocked in school. As far as I'm aware, it's not blocked. You can download things absolutely fine. Because I think you can do what I did before, what I did show in folder, and I think you can do that. But I will get that cleared up and get that to you, but I'm 100% sure, if I'm honest with you, or I'll say 90%. 90% sure that you can. Because you can definitely download stuff. But thank you for that. Oh, Mr. Raj just messaged me, and it's in your, it'll go to your home drive, okay? So when you use Chrome, it'll go to your H drive, that is your home drive, and there'll be a folder called downloads for you, okay? Thank you for that, sir. Now, we've done the exam. I mean, barring that question I've left for the mark scheme, because it's going to be a bit of an awkward one to answer, at this point we've got all marks, barring 3, okay? I've had another message saying when downloading something, you have to make sure you click Save As and make sure you save it in Documents. That's if you're using Internet Explorer. We've changed the shortcut so it does use Chrome, okay? So that's the whole point. That's the reason why I set it to Chrome. So we've got that, okay? I've had another message saying, do we get the counter on Greenfoot done for us? Yeah. What I've just showed you, that was already done. That was completely downloaded in front of you guys at the beginning of the stream. The only thing I did is I changed it a little bit, okay? What I will do is I'll go through the answers and I'm going to go through my theory notes, okay? Miss Usher's also messaged me and said that it'll be Mr. Washer that'll be available to help you zip up. Miss Usher will be there, okay? Thank you for that. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the answers for this paper, compare them to mine. We can laugh if I get things wrong. I'm sure I've got something wrong. And then, as I've said, I'll go through my theory notes, and then that should be fine. Oh, that's a really nice message, actually. I mean, I don't like reading out messages, but I was going on saying that the stream's helped a lot. So I hope it has helped a lot. I mean, we have dropped. We was on 45 people watching. We're down to 28, but I'll take what I can get. So we'll go for some answers, okay? Now I need to find where I put the answers. There they are. But if you are grateful and you are thinking, you know, you really want to thank me, my birthday is on June the 9th. Just saying. So this is the same paper. Obviously, this is what we get given as teachers. We got it 2 years ago to help us teach you. And as you can see, same questions. Pretty much. In fact, the other thing that's different is the algorithm's different slightly. And that question's the same, different numbers though, and a different Greenfoot game. But that shouldn't matter, okay? So we'll go through different questions for that, but this is what the examiners are going to read. So when you have sent this off, people like me, they're usually just normal teachers, they will they'll get this mark scheme. Those that are running as well, don't forget that I've waffled on for quite a long time. I've gone through rules, I've gone through the process of getting on the exam. Your exam does not start until you type in that code. So it's really, 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 really important that you don't type in that code until you're instructed to. Otherwise, essentially, it's like you opening the paper before the exam. That is cheating, okay? We can't have that. But yeah, so us teachers that moderate, obviously not your teachers, but people that have applied for a job to get some extra money, will get this mark scheme. Okay, so I'm just going to put it across like that so we can see. So we'll say different questions slightly, but you see it's 1 mark for each. So at this point we are on 3 marks, okay? Now you see for question 2, if I just get my fitness tracker up, it says 1 mark for each correct pair in the correct location. For example, H1, centre, BB, except either P or P/P. No need to close P, apparently. I mean, it's always a good thing to close your paragraph tags, so we'll ignore that. Except alternative tags such as big instead of H1. We've not taught you the big tags, so don't use it. One big thing though is it says accept alternative HTML and not CSS. So they don't want to see, you know, you're going above and beyond doing CSS because you will not get marked for it. Yeah, so we've got HTML head title, my fitness tracker homepage / title. So we've got that up here. Head. Oh, apparently exam board. Oh no, they've got body. I thought they missed it off then. I was going to start slating them. So they've got body, centre, H1 fitness tracker / H1. Same as those. Bold, paragraph and italics. Wearable fitness technology. So we've got that. So far we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 marks. Then you've got the paragraph we do need to monitor, which we've got. We've got the UL and the LIs. So that's another mark. Notice there, you need the UL and the LI to get that mark. Okay, so obviously you can't just put LI. Okay. Sorry, it popped up saying I had a message, but I didn't. Apologies. Then we scroll on some more, and then we've got our paragraphs again. Just making sure I've not missed any random underlines. That is one thing to check though, is that they're really sneaky and sometimes they'll just not sure if you can highlight it. They might just have one of these underlined. If anybody knows if you can do a poll on Twitch, so like a thing where you can all select an answer. If anyone knows how to do it, wants to send me a message, tell me how to do that. That'd be really helpful. And then obviously last mark there is for your Ahref, which we've got. Notice 1 mark for HTTP : // Hence why I put it in there. You get that extra mark really good. So we'll go back to our answers. So local variables are declared and used within limited parts of the program, such as a subroutine function. So local variable can only be, I should have said used, not created. Only used in the function or section of code it was created in. A global variable can use throughout the entire program. Now, 3b is saying it is better practice to use local variables whenever a variable is not needed throughout the whole program because it uses memory up. So that's what I said. So that's my 1 mark. It's harder to debug errors involving global variables as they are liable to be changed within any subroutine. Fair enough. And even if this is what initially planned, and subroutines are easier to use in other programs. Now I don't particularly like that last point, but definitely it's best practice because if you don't need it, you don't want to waste the memory, and it makes it hard to debug. So that's 2 marks there. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for that link. Everyone said use straw poll. Okay, so I'll have a look at that. Sorry, Mr. Smith just chipped in saying that the big Twitch streamers, like myself, obviously use straw poll as well. So yeah, so. Let's carry on. So we've got those marks there. So say if you only got 2 out of 3 for that one, I mean we've lost 1 mark, that's 59 out of 60. I'm pretty sure we can deal with that. Thanks Owen for straw poll. I've been asked why do you get a mark for http://. The reason is, if you don't put http:// in your code, it will look for a file called www.myfitnesstracker.co.uk instead of actually looking for the website. Okay, so it means that you'll actually be able to go from your computer to the World Wide Web. Okay, so that's what that's there for. So you get the extra mark because it's very good practice. Otherwise, it looks for a local file. So it's like when I made my page for this stream, if I would have linked when I was doing my links up, if I would just put slash www.stream or whatever, restart.co.uk/stream, didn't put http:// it'd look for files called that name. Okay. Question 4. Now obviously this is a different question, but I'll go through that in a bit. So ignore that one. Now line 10 is input username, line 11 output password, line 13 is username and password, and set counter. Oh, I got something wrong. Did I? Set counter equals counter plus 1 is the answer on there. I put until counter is 3. That's because different question I've just noticed. Notice I put line 20 and they was asking for line 19. So if you look at 20, I was right. That's good. Poof. That was worrying. Now again, looking at this algorithm, you see mine's very similar how it looks. So we've got declare. You don't have to write declare total laps, as it says. Brackets and bold text indicate other accepted pseudocode. Accept alternative solutions as long as they provide exactly the same result. So if you do it a different way, use a while loop instead of a for loop or anything daft like that, that is absolutely fine. It's okay. Okay, so the only thing I got wrong in my algorithm, you'll see, is put declare minimum number as 999. So a big number. So obviously the reason behind that, something I didn't pick up on, I'm sure one of you will have done. Obviously, that number is always going to be lower than a big number. I mean, technically not, but obviously you can put a larger number than that. But obviously if the score was 3 or whatever that you've entered, then it's going to be less than that and become the lowest one. Having mine set as 0 was where I had my problem here, where I was saying, right, less than or equal to, that part will never fire. So there was exactly right there to put lowest to something like that. Okay, so that's my bad, but obviously even I get things wrong as well. It is 9 o'clock. Being asked, do we have an extra revision period 3 and 4 tomorrow? Period 3, yes you do, you're in 22A with me and Mr. Bashford. However, period 4, you're going on lower school lunch because your exam starts at 1 o'clock and we need you up into your allocated rooms by 1240. Now, if you just put 2 seconds, I'm going to stick, if I can find the chat anyway. I've hidden it from my screen, and I'm really struggling to find it. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Whoops, I managed to lose something, that's always good. Oh, that's really annoying. Right, I've lost the chat, so I can't post the thing I wanted to post, but I'll do that in the I've got another account I can post that in, okay? Nice one, Jack. You got an achievement for watching the stream on your Xbox. It's always good to know. So I'll try and sort that chat thing out as I'm going along, because I don't need to sit there wasting time. As we've lost 20 people now. 20 people have got bored of me. Can you imagine? So yeah, so I've sorted that part out. So I've lost 1 mark there, but the rest of the code's absolutely fine. And your marks are for outputting your text properly, inputting a value, using the concept of a loop, using an if statement, correctly adding your total up, outputting your variables, making sure you've got 3 correct numerical outputs like that, and it's all correct, okay? So a bunch of marks, but I can't remember who asked me. Somebody asked me if a simpler algorithm could get you those marks, and the answer is yes. So if you've outputted text saying, you know, please enter a number of integers, well, you've outputted some text, how can I give you less mark? Inputting a value, writing input a number, so like just like that, those 2 there, that's just got me 2 marks. Selection using an if, so that part's got me a mark. Outputting variables properly, got that. So even if you're struggling, you think I have no idea, and you're actually worrying, you're getting really panicky about it, chill out, stop. Oh, I've never seen that before. So I can't get on that question. That's annoying. I daren't refresh it, but I'm going to. Well, oh well. Luckily we finished it, haven't we? That shouldn't happen to you guys. It's because I've used that account so many times. I've probably used it about 20 times now. So it's probably getting fed up of me using it. So. Yeah, so I'll carry on. So a simpler algorithm that meets these points will still get you some marks. Okay, so if in the question, now if I scroll, I should be able to find a similar question anyway. So in the question like this, you know for a fact by using this, you've got to output these values. So even if all of this was rubbish because you couldn't figure it out, but you did that, you're going to get some marks. So just do it, okay? Right, so back to the mark scheme, okay? So now, it says you can do a flowchart example. Don't do a flowchart example, okay? The exam board's been really funny about using things like click charts, so that's getting disabled, I'm afraid. You could do it in Word and PowerPoint, but if I'm honest with you, flowcharts are a lot harder to mark. They're a lot harder to actually do. Like, you're going to confuse yourself, and I just don't think it's worth the potential, you know, things that could go wrong. I'm just trying to figure out still how I can and show the chat on my screen. It sounds like a really newbie question, but I don't know how I put the chat behind. I hid it because I made the screen bigger, and I've lost the chat now. So if anyone could tell me how I can see the chat, that'd be really, really helpful, because I've got rid of it by accident. But yeah, carry on. Now, back to the bubble sort question. You see, obviously mine's very different to theirs because they've put these boxes in, but I think it's a little bit harder for you to do boxes like that. So you get your mark for correctly swapping items if out of order. So 9's bigger than 5. You might want to write it is out of order, so swap or something. Correctly not swapping items if they're in order. So 9 is less than 10, so don't swap. Perform an additional pass through if any data swaps are performed. So that was me saying because the swap was made in this past restart, and saying that gets me a mark. And then stating that no swaps are performed, the data is not in the algorithm ends. Me saying that there gets me that extra mark. Now 2 seconds. And no, I haven't full screened the stream. It's just I closed it, but I don't know how I did. It's the first time I've used Twitch before. I've been asked how many minimum marks would you need to pass. I honestly have no idea of knowing. It's out of 60. So you want to be getting, I think, I'm going to guess at about half, but if I'm honest with you, stop worrying about minimum marks to pass. Just get as many as you can, because we won't know what the boundaries are or anything until every single person in the country has submitted their marks, and it gets marked by us lot, and then the exam board will then the exam board will say, right, too many people have got 100% marks, so we're going to make it so it's really hard for you to get that grade or whatever. They will do that. So I'm still trying to do this stupid chat thing I've messed up. It's alright. I've got a laptop behind me, so I can log in as my account and can sort that out as well. If I remember passwords, I'll be able to get on that elsewhere as well. So moving on. Now you've got to have the merge sort question. That's what is absolutely horrible. So you see here, just like me, they started off with your list, then divided into smaller elements, just like I have. Split a list, that. Now it then says the first and second items are compared and placed in the correct order, and the two adjacent elements are merged. Okay, so the third and fourth elements are compared, placed in the correct order, and merged. By merged is me saying putting it into the list. Okay, the process continues until it's sorted. So that's exactly what I've done there. Okay, very confusing, yes. Doesn't look very nice, but you know, c'est la vie. Cheers for that link to my chat, Reese. That's really helpful. Thank you. So I've popped, it should do anyway, a straw poll into the chat if you want to click that at some point before the end, and have a little go just so we know. Obviously it's anonymous, things like that, so have a look at that. And now we're back to Greenfoot. So I'm just going to put my game back on the screen. Now you can see we get a mark for each of the things that are populated. So that is by doing the whole dragging it on and saving the world. That's what gets you the marks. Okay, so do it. Those are summer codes that didn't know that. You don't have to do counter equals new counter. You just right click, new crab or whatever, drag it on, right click, save the world. Now we all want to thank Dan Chapman for that, as he is the one who figured that out, so cheers for that, matey. Now you get a mark for your water trap. In this case it's going to be the fish and the sharks moving round, so that's 2 marks there. And random movement implemented using a function such as get random number gets you a mark. So just doing it the right way is getting us marks already. We're on 6 marks. Athletes move around according to the arrow keys, we've done that, 1 mark. Athlete moves at the same speed to the gate and water traps. In this case it's going to be our fish and sharks, another mark. Fish is removed from world on collision with the crab lobster thing, 1 mark. Sound played when they collide, adding a counter, 1 mark. Counter increasing, counter decreasing, 2 marks. This part here, implementation via parameter passing as opposed to a wholly new method, what that means is here where I added in the comma and put in string mode, that is a parameter. Okay, so me putting in that extra parameter and sticking it in this if statement gets you 1 extra mark. Now by all means don't do it and you'll lose 2 marks. If you're on 13 out of 15, I don't think anybody's going to moan at you for that, but obviously you do want to get as many marks as you can, so that's by putting that extra parameter in and then implementing it there. And then Greenfoot world saved correctly as final train 8. Okay, so there we go, that's that. Now I'm just going to turn my light on 1 second because I can't see a thing in here. Right, lights on so I can see again. Brilliant. Now that's the exam. What I want to do now is, this exam has not covered everything, okay, and I'm going to go through that now, okay. Get rid of all that rubbish, and now make some revision cards that I gave out, but obviously these are just for this is what I'm just going to go through each slide now. It's just a PowerPoint. So first things first, these are all the tags you need, okay. You could get asked on any of these. There is actually one missing, I've noticed, that I'm going to put here because I've just realised that it is missing and it should be on there. So here you also need to know, where can I stick it where it's not going to look daft. I'm going to stick it there. Insert rows below. Block quote. Now, the block quote tag is terrible. I don't know why anyone would use it. I would not use it, but it is in there, okay? So, just been asked to put that super revision PowerPoint onto my website. The super revision one, that is for component 1. There is no component 2 on there, so it's completely pointless having that, okay? Component 1's finished, you did that on Monday. But I can stick this. Another question from Terpster. For the algorithm, is there a specific pseudocode scheme you have to use? No. There's no such thing as a pseudocode in terms of like a way you got to do it. Obviously the exam board like their special way. It doesn't matter. I spoke to the head of the exam board for computer science, and he said, exact quote, I've got the email to prove it, we will take what we can get. So if you write in Python, that's absolutely fine, okay? I prefer you to use pseudocode. If you can't remember it, and you've got like a mixture of prints and 4IM ranges and using sets properly, doesn't matter. Pseudocode is not a real language, so you can't have a syntax error, only logic errors, okay? So I'm just going to show you what a block quote actually does, and it's pointless. But if I just go, just bear with me 2 seconds, because did I delete the old one is the question. Did I delete? Nah, it's right there, okay? So if I just launch that in Chrome real fast, we've got that website there, haven't we? Now if I change this part here into a block quote, and don't forget as well, Notepad++ also finishes off your writing like Greenfoot does. So all it does is it sticks it in, it puts a little space there. I mean, is there any point in that? Probably not. Okay. So yeah, so unless you can see it's quite clearly a quote like that and it's got a big space in, just stick with paragraph. Like I said, in the example on that website, on the that's still, oh apparently there's a runtime error. Fun little fact, kids. Server error means something's gone wrong on their end in their web config. There's something to do with their hosting. So yeah, it's back on now. So something's obviously gone down. There must be doing some maintenance so it's ready for your exam probably. So if I just go back to that question that I was talking about, one thing to take into account though, guys, that if you don't press finish, as far as I'm aware, it just works for me. It saved everything. It saved my uploaded files, and it's all there. You haven't lost anything. But until you press that, then you don't get it back. Now going back to the HTML question, there's a little space there, but in the mark scheme it was still a P, so don't worry about it. I think it's probably just a P. I think they've just done it for some reason with their nice Windows 95/Windows XP and Explorer tabs. So back to that. So you've got P for paragraph, H1's a big heading, H6 is tiniest or smallest, UL is a bulleted list, OL is your numbered list, LI is the same, center's your text, yes Max, I will put this PowerPoint onto my website, okay? You just got to bear with me. But I'll start doing that in a minute. But it'll take me a while to do, and I'll stop talking because I'll try and figure that out, and then I'll probably be quiet for ages and it'll be awkward. BR for a line break, so that just creates a space, like a whole line space. Block quote, I've just shown you. U underlines. Table border equals 1. TR and TD. So I'm going to create a table in a minute to help you with that. You've got I for italics, HR for horizontal rule or horizontal line, image space SRC equals. They could ask you for that. They might give you a picture and say put an image in there. Obviously, you would put the width and height parameters after that. You then got ahref for your hyperlink, B for bold, OL for ordered list. I don't think they're going to get hacked. Whoever said that. Now, just for this whole table thing. Now, if I wanted a table just to have 2 cells, I could do not table. Table border equals 1. Specify a row using the TR tags. Then you do a TD. That means one piece of data on that row. So if I've got more than one, it means essentially means columns. So if I put hello in that one, and I put world and do /TD there, if I save that, and wherever my website is, you see there I've got a table with 1 row, 2 columns. Now if I wanted more rows, I could do that, and that, okay? And you see I've added more rows and columns, okay, like that. So that's your tables. So this is my Greenfoot thingamajig from before. So these are all things I've done. So obviously creating a scoring function. This is the old version that when you was making it from scratch. You've got your key Greenfoot is.key down right. You've got your get a random number for your random movement. You've got your it's touching to remove the touching objects and play the sounds, and your counter. Obviously, when I made this slide, at that point we was looking at this set image stuff. He was like, "Oh my god, we can't remember this stuff. That's ridiculous." Like I said, they should give you it. So the next slide is when you've got the pre-made counter. Obviously, you've got this stuff. You want to change this part here. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse all right. I'm just gonna. So this part, you're changing. That wouldn't be an arrow to that, and then obviously that's how you use the counter, and that is how you actually implement the counter with my changes. That will not be in there if you haven't done that, and obviously that is how you remove touching and use that counter in your method there. Okay. Okay, assembly language. Now, assembly language, INP takes a number, stores it in the accumulator. Output prints a number that is stored in the accumulator. STA, store, takes a number that is in the accumulator and puts it in a mailbox. A mailbox is just a slot of RAM. LDA, load, takes a number from that slot of RAM, from that mailbox, and pops it in the accumulator. Add command, takes the number from a mailbox and adds it to whatever is already in the accumulator, like in our question we had. BRA stands for branch. What that does is it changes the program counter. Now, the actual command BRA, you don't use. You're not going to use it because that would make an infinite loop. Pointless, right? But you don't have to know the other versions. But there's like branch while 0 and there's loops and things involved. HLT, halt, stops the program. Don't put end, always put halt. DAT gives a name to a mailbox. So DAT, so you do first space DAT, okay, and that would say, right, we're using a DAT command and making a mailbox called first, and then subtracts whatever's in the mailbox from whatever's in the accumulator, not accumulator from the mailbox, okay. Yeah. Sorting algorithms, we've already been through these. So bubble sort, swaps each number in pairs till numbers are sorted. Merge sort, splits them into single parts. then sorts them individually until it gets back to that full list. Search and algorithms. I've never seen a question so far on search and algorithms, but it's more than likely that they probably are going to give you one at some point, so it might be this year. So a linear search. Linear means a line. So you look at 6. So say we're looking for number 2. We're going to look at you look at 6. Is 6 2? Nope. Counter +1. Move on to the next number. Is 3 2? No, it's not. Of course it's not. And keep going in order until you get to 2. Then it goes, right, you found it, and it stops. Someone's messaged me. It looks like Chappers 1907 said, in Greenfoot, couldn't you just make a new function called down counter? Yes, you could, and that would work, but you would lose 1 mark. That's because of that whole thing earlier on that I showed you here that says implementation via parameter passing as opposed to a wholly new method. But of course, you're still going to get the 1 mark from decreasing the score. So you're getting something, but you won't get full marks for that, okay? And that's why I've done that. Binary search. So what we do for that one, a little bit more complicated, but binary search will split the number into 2 by finding the midpoint. If the number you're looking for is greater than or less than the midpoint, you get rid of the side that's not needed. So we're looking for number 10. Now, the midpoint is going to be 7. The reason why is you should know that lists start from 0. So we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, that's right, yeah? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, confused myself. You divide that by 2, it's 2.5. Now, we don't deal in 0.5s in lists. You can't have that's there. You can't get that. So you take off the 0.5, so just 2. So 0, 1, 2, 7's the midpoint. Now, say we're looking for number 10 at that point. We're going to say, right, 7 is smaller than 10. So we don't want this number, we don't want 4, and we don't want 1. So we get rid of them. And we start again. So we've got 0, 1, 2. Half of 2 is 1. That makes 10 the midpoint, and we've found the number. Okay? So it's all about finding the midpoint and splitting, but there's loads of videos online on YouTube about this that you can look at, okay? Now, data types. Now, you might get asked what these data types are. So in case you don't know, integer, whole number, no decimal points. Real, or float, is decimal numbers. Strings are a combination of words and numbers all put together. Boolean is true or false. Char is a single letter or symbol. Okay, so just like the letter S, for example. Or if you was, I don't know, you was answering a form on gender, for example, you might put, M for male, so it'd be a single character. List is a collection of different data that can be increased or reduced. Now, a list does not have to be the same data type. Okay, depending on the language, but generally speaking, a list can have integers, strings, everything all mixed together. But you can change the size or reduce the size of a list. An array is different. An array is a fixed size. So you're going to say, I want 10 slots of memory or whatever to use. You can't say, right, array.append or array.remove. You can delete the data out of it, but it'll still leave a blank piece of memory in there called a null reference. But an array is a collection of the same data type, and it can't be extended or reduced in size, okay? Variable is a named value that can change. A constant is similar to a variable, but it's a named value that cannot change. I'm just going to change that whilst the program is running, okay? So what I mean by that is, you could have, if you think about a maths question, a maths program that was using the variable pi, 3.14. No way is that number going to change. We can't go change the laws of maths by changing pi. So we'd make that a constant. So it means that you can't do pi equals pi plus 1 and change it to 4.137, whatever it is. 14, sorry. So a constant is a named value that cannot change while the program is running. Now there's nothing stopping you going back to the source code and changing it, but it means whilst it's running. Local variable is a variable created within a subroutine or function that can't be accessed outside of it. A global variable is a variable that is created and can be accessed from anywhere in the program. A static variable, which is like your counter you use in your program in Greenfoot, is it remains in the same location in memory while the program is running. So that means that if you create loads of counters, say you created 6 counters, they're all going to look at the same variable, which is good for us, because otherwise we'd have to have one counter made and then reference it, and it'd be a pain in Greenfoot, which would be really awkward for us to program. So a static variable stays, it's one variable in the same location in memory that everybody references. If statement, selecting different areas of the program based on conditions. Loop, when you want to repeat code. Sequence, the order of your program. Procedure, a set of coded instructions that tell a computer how to run. So that might be, it's usually a function that doesn't have a value coming out. So you wouldn't add up two numbers and return a value. That would be a function. A procedure would, I don't know, change some bits and bobs but not tell the user. Okay, can't think of an example there. Going back to what I was asked by Reese, is there a special way for you to do a pseudocode? Technically yes, you should use these things for pseudocode and flowcharts, but like I said, if you don't remember it, just do it in Python, it's absolutely fine. Okay? Yeah, they'll probably be a bit annoyed and be like, oh, can't believe they're not in Python, oh, silly buggers, but it doesn't matter, it's absolutely fine. Do not worry about it at all. Okay? And that's that. And that's everything. So, what I'm going to do is very quickly I'm going to give you a poll if you want me to do anything over. I'm not going to enable chat. I'm not that silly. So so we've got Greenfoot, HTML, algorithms, assembly language. Greenfoot, HTML, algorithms, assembly language. I think that's pretty much it. Okay. So I'm going to put that in the chat. So that's up there. I'll look at the results. If you want to give it a quick click, and we'll see what topics you want me to go over again. Okay. So we've got Greenfoot so far. See if there's any questions. Tom has asked me what time am I aiming to finish. I'll be completely honest with you. Any time now. I'm ready for bed. So I need to make my lunch. So yeah, so hopefully not too much longer, matey, alright? Dan wants me to go over the counter. So we've got a lot of assembly language popping up and a bit of Greenfoot, okay? So is it possible to do the pseudocode all in Python and get full marks? I don't see why not. As long as you use the correct structures and you've used ifs, for loops, you've made it really clear, even sticking some hashtags in there just to comment your code, I'd be happy with that, okay? So we've got Greenfoot and assembly, right? So I'll quickly run over them. I'll do assembly first, just because it's closer for me. So, again, assembly language, you should have seen this website. Peter Higgins LMC, okay? You should have seen this before. This shouldn't be anything new. So all I'm talking about is when I say like INP, for example, takes a number, puts in the accumulator. If I do imp there, submit the code, and run the program, does its little thing, and in a minute it's going to ask me to type a number into input. 7 number, so 76, and it pops it in the accumulator. So just like my definition, it takes a number from the user and stores it in the accumulator. Output, exactly the same thing as I said. So out, I'm just going to run this a bit faster now. Takes a number, so I'll do the number 10, stores it in the accumulator, and you see it's being popped in this output tray. So it then prints the number that's stored in the accumulator. Like I said, store. So if I did imp out STA 99, that would store it in this slot here. Okay, so submit, run, speed it up. So I'll put in 90, stores it, outputs it, and you see in this little slot here, I don't think I'll let me zoom in that well. This slot here, you've got 90 in there because I've stored it. Now if I did that, then did LDA 99, it do exactly the same thing again. So I put in number 12, and it's going to store it in there, and then you see 12's here as well because it's loaded it back up. Okay. If I wanted to add, so I might do store it in 99, INP, and then add 99. What this is going to do, it's going to ask me for the number. So it's going to ask for 100, and now it's asking for another number, so 100 stored in 99, I'm going to add 2. So then it loaded 99, added the 2 to it, stored it in the accumulator. So it's all about that accumulator, okay? Then got a message asking me if I can stream Fortnite. Unfortunately, I don't have it installed because I'm not a 14-year-old. But thanks for asking. And then you've got bra changes the program counter. So I'm just going to show you an example of that. So you've got bra, and if I say 0, provided it works, what it'll do is this program will loop forever now, indefinitely. Okay, so if I just run the program, it's going to ask for a number, so 5, it's going to ask for another number, 6 rather, and then you see it's asking me again, and again, and again, and again, and again, because it keeps changing the program counter back to 0, which starts the program again. Yeah, so that's your assembly language, and obviously sub is the same as adding, but obviously it takes it away from the number in the accumulator. Bra 0 is 0, that's because yeah, you're exactly right, Reese. I've been asked, is bra 0 going to 0 because that's the first instruction? Yes, you see, this here is the instruction. Now, it's a bit late for this because obviously you've already done the exam, but von Neumann architecture that you all heard is that the program and the data for that program are stored in the same place. Well, this is the place, this here, that's the program, that's the data for the program, same location, RAM, okay? Right, Greenfoot, okay. I'm going to go for source code in this one because I've been asked to go through this counter again. So, like I said, you're given most of this code, okay? All this stuff here. Now, this counter started off with just total count is plus equals amount and just int amount, okay? Now, what Dan asked was, can you get away with doing this? And the answer is absolutely yes, but you will lose 1 mark, okay? If you're not bothered about that, then great. If you are bothered, then obviously you don't want to do that. So what you could do is you copy this completely. You could do down count, and then do that, and then just call that later in your program. That would work absolutely fine, but you would lose 1 mark because you haven't used the parameter passing. But that's easier. So if getting 14 out of 15, I mean, I'd be really happy with that. I'd be so proud of you all if you got that. So if you can do that, great. If you can't do that, then no worries, honestly. But that's one way. If you want to, I'm just going to leave my screen on a little bit. If anybody wants to take a screenshot of that code, take a screenshot of it. Remember that. Take the loss of 1 mark. That's fine. So I'll give you a screenshot of that. Or you go back to my code there, which has the 2 modes in, which gets you that extra mark. Okay. I think that's it then, guys. We've covered everything that you're going to get asked on, all the theoretical questions. I'm going to very quickly upload that PowerPoint, this one I was just on about, to my website now, while I can. Just 2 seconds, gone quiet because I'm trying to log into my site. Come on, there we go, logged in. So I just need to upload the file, 1 second, so it's not that. It's that. Now just make sure I save those changes. Just uploading that now for you all. And then if I just go to my posts, so it'll be the same stream post. So restore.co.uk/stream. I'm just going to very quickly add that in. It's just been a bit slow, so 2 seconds, guys. Click here for the PowerPoint used. Okay, so just adding that in, insert into post, update. Now 2 seconds. Now if we just go on, see my little cheeky Google's now to work Twitch for you. Now it should. There we go. So for all the files, you've got that's the PowerPoint. So you click that, it'll download that there, and you can view that to your heart's content. And I think we're going to call it there, guys. So one last questions then. You don't have PowerPoint. If you don't have PowerPoint, you can download PowerPoint Viewer. And as far as I'm aware, if you go on to view a presentation without PowerPoint, you can use PowerPoint Online like that. Again, that should let you, if you've got a Hotmail account, sign in and use it. Otherwise, it's Dropbox, something like that. Okay. There are some separate programs, but obviously they're a little bit iffy. Okay. So all that's there for you. That's that done. I think what I'll do as well is, just for those worrying about the Greenfoot, I'm going to very quickly also upload my completed game as well, if it lets me. Just 2 seconds. So just in the same stream thing, just the same as before, same web page. That same web page, it should say as well. Oh, just messed something up there. That's not good. Click here for the completed source code. Sorry for talking as I wrote that. That was really weird. And set into post. Update. and that's there for you as well. Okay, that will need to be unzipped. It won't work without it. Okay, so back onto there, and you've got the completed source code as well there, right? So anyway, thank you for all watching. Hopefully, I'm hoping that helped you. I will see you all period 3 tomorrow. Obviously, summer coat slot. Good, best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. I hope you do really well. Obviously, download this PowerPoint, put it on a memory stick, print it out. You've got periods 1, 2 and 3 to revise. My lot, period 3, after break time, I want you in 22A with me in Bashford. I'll go over all this stuff again, okay? I'll go for the PowerPoint. If you want to have practice, things like that, we'll have a look at that. Period 4, you're at lunch until 12:40. Then you want to line up outside your rooms. So find where you are outside of the it's in the window of the hall. It's also at the bottom of block 2, and it's also at the 2 doors at the top of block 2 as well. Okay. Yeah. Got a good night, sir. Good night to you. As much as I'd love to have a game night, Reese, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think I'm allowed to, but thank you for enjoying it. I really hope it did help. But I mean, you know, it's a bit pointless I do more streams because you'll have passed your exam. Thank you. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Thank you for that. Much obliged. So yeah, I hope that helps. So download those files. They'll be up there, obviously. Until tomorrow. Okay. So yeah, so thank you very much. Hope you appreciated it. Sorry for taking 2 hours and 22 minutes. But yeah, that's it. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Best of luck to everybody.